What if I told you that there are 4 specific phrases that have been scientifically tested on thousands of women, and 99% of them admitted these words made them feel an instant surge of attraction? What if these weren't pickup lines or manipulative tricks, but psychological triggers that tap into something so deep in female psychology that even the most confident women can't resist? Here's what's even more shocking. Most men will never discover these phrases because they go against everything society has taught us about being nice guys. But the men who do use them? They become magnetic to women in ways that seem almost unfair. In just a moment, I will share these 4 phrases with you so you can start using them starting from today. Plus, I'll share something that completely changed my dating life, something called scrambler effect. It's a psychological phenomenon that flips the script on traditional dating, and I'll show you exactly how to use it at the end of this video. Make sure you check the link in the description because what I'm sharing there has helped thousands of men transform from invisible to irresistible. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some guys seem to have women chasing them while you're stuck in the friend zone? Why do women lose interest in you even when they seemed attracted initially? The answer lies in understanding what actually turns women on at a psychological level. 3 years ago, I was driving my beat-up Toyota Corolla to another dead-end office job, wondering why every woman I was interested in saw me as just a friend. I was the guy who always said yes, who bent over backwards to make women happy, who thought being nice was enough. Then something happened that shattered everything I believed about attraction. I was at a work conference, and there was this woman, let's call her Mia, who I'd been trying to impress for months. Beautiful, intelligent, way out of my league. I'd bought her coffee, helped with her projects, been the perfect gentleman. She was friendly but nothing more. That night at the conference dinner, she was being playfully demanding about switching seats, wanting the one with the better view. Every instinct told me to immediately give her what she wanted. But something inside me snapped. Instead, I looked at her and said 4 simple words. No. How about that? The room went quiet for a second. Then she smiled, not just any smile, but this look I'd never seen before. Her pupils dilated, she bit her lips slightly, and suddenly she was leaning closer to me. What happened next changed everything I thought I knew about women. But before I tell you what happened, you need to understand the psychology behind why that simple word, no, created such a powerful reaction. Because this isn't just about one phrase, it's about understanding how attraction actually works in a woman's mind. Here's what 99% of men get wrong. They think being agreeable makes them attractive. But attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. And the first thing that turns women on is when a man has boundaries. When I said, no, to Mia, I wasn't being mean or difficult. I was being playfully challenging. And here's the female psychology lesson you need to understand. Women are constantly testing men to see if they'll fold under pressure. Think about it from her perspective. She's attractive, she's used to guys doing whatever she wants. But that's boring. Where's the challenge? Where's the excitement? When every man becomes putty in her hands, none of them stand out. But when a man can playfully say, no, how about that? With confidence, with a smile, without being aggressive, he's showing her something rare, backbone. Back to my story with Mia. After I refused to switch seats, the entire dynamic changed. She started asking me questions about myself. She was laughing at things that weren't even that funny. She found excuses to touch my arm. Later, she pulled me aside and said something that still gives me chills. I've never met a guy who wasn't afraid of me. That's when I realized the devastating truth. Most men are so intimidated by attractive women that they surrender all their power immediately. But here's where it gets interesting, and why you need to keep watching. What I discovered that night was the concept of sexual tension through obstacles. You see, when there's no challenge between a man and woman, there's no electricity. It's like the classic story of the farmer's daughter. The forbidden nature of the attraction makes it burn hotter. When you're too easy, when you remove all obstacles between you and a woman, you kill the sexual tension. But when you create playful resistance, that's when her mind starts racing. That's when she starts wondering about you, thinking about you, wanting to win you over. This leads me to the second phrase that turns 99% of women on, and it's something that will completely flip your understanding of how attraction works. But first, I need to tell you about the night everything went wrong with Mia, and how it taught me the most important lesson about female psychology. 2 weeks after the conference, Mia and I went on our first date. I was so excited that I reverted to my old patterns. I complimented her constantly, agreed with everything she said, paid for everything, and basically worshipped the ground she walked on. The energy died within an hour. She became polite but distant. The spark was gone. At the end of the night, she gave me the devastating, "I had a nice time, but..." bitch. I went home feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. That's when I realized something crucial about female psychology. Women don't want worship, they want challenge. They don't want a servant, they want a man who sees his own value. This brings me to the second phrase that psychologically triggers attraction in 99% of women, and it's counterintuitive in the most beautiful way. Just because you're being nice to me doesn't mean you get to sleep with me tonight. I know what you're thinking, that sounds arrogant, maybe even offensive. But here's what's happening psychologically when you say this with the right energy. You're flipping the expected script. Instead of you chasing her hoping for sex, you're playfully suggesting she's chasing you. And this does something powerful to a woman's brain. It makes her see you as the prize, not her. When I learned to use this phrase properly, and timing is everything, the results were mind-blowing. Women would literally drop their jaws, then start getting touchy-feely, trying to prove how desirable they were. But here's the critical part most men miss. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive. It's about displaying the kind of confidence that shows you're not desperate, that you have options, that you value yourself. Women are attracted to men who other women want. When you position yourself as the selector rather than the one hoping to be selected, you trigger something primal in her attraction system. I tested this phrase dozens of times after my disaster with Mia. The results were consistent. Confusion first, then intrigue, then escalated interest. Women started working harder to impress me instead of me working to impress them. But there's a third phrase that's even more powerful, and it involves reading the subtle signals women give when they're attracted to you. Most men are blind to female flirting. They miss the signals, misread the signs, and lose opportunities that were right in front of them. But when you understand how to read a woman's attraction signals and respond with confidence, you unlock a level of power that seems almost supernatural. You're flirting with me. That's cute. This phrase works because it demonstrates 3 things that drive women wild: social intelligence, emotional awareness, and confidence. You're showing her that you can read between the lines, that you're not intimidated by her interest, and that you find her attempts to seduce you amusing. I learned this the hard way when I met someone I'll call Lena at a networking event. She was giving me all the signs, compliments, touching my arm, laughing at everything I said. But instead of recognizing her interest and responding confidently, I became nervous and started seeking validation. The energy shifted immediately. She could sense my insecurity, my neediness, my desperation for her approval. By the end of the conversation, she was looking around for an escape route. That's when I understood a crucial truth about female psychology. Women are incredibly intuitive. They can sense fear, desperation, and insecurity from a mile away. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who doesn't believe in his own value. But when you can look at a woman who's clearly interested in you and say, "You're flirting with me," that's cute, with genuine confidence. You're showing her that her attention doesn't overwhelm you. You're comfortable with female interest. You're used to it. This creates a psychological effect called preselection. She assumes other women must be interested in you too, which makes you even more attractive to her. The fourth phrase is where things get really interesting, because it involves something that most men are terrified to do. Here's something that might shock you. Women are turned on by masculine authority when it's expressed playfully and lovingly. Not dominance, not aggression, but confident leadership. Say please. When a woman asks you for something, your jacket, a sip of your drink, help with something, instead of immediately complying like most men do, you make her work for it just a little bit. This phrase works because it establishes you as the authority figure in the interaction. You're not the servant hoping to please her, you're the king who expects a certain level of respect and courtesy. I remember using this with a woman named Tara who kept asking me to do little favors throughout the evening. Each time I said, "Say please," with a playful smile, she would laugh, comply, and then seem more interested in me. Here's the female psychology behind it. Women feel safe and attracted to men who can take charge. When you can playfully assert authority without being aggressive or demeaning, you're showing her that you're capable of leadership. And leadership is incredibly attractive to women. But there's something even more powerful than any of these phrases, and it's the one thing that ties them all together. All of these phrases share one common element. They create sexual tension through playful resistance. But here's what most men miss. It's not really about the words themselves. It's about the mindset behind them. When I was failing with women, I was operating from a place of scarcity. I believed that women were the prize and I needed to work to deserve them. This showed up in everything I did, my body language, my tonality, my desperate need for their approval. But when I shifted to abundance thinking, when I started seeing myself as the prize, everything changed. Suddenly these phrases felt natural instead of forced. Women could sense the shift in my energy, and they responded to it. The truth is, attraction isn't something you can fake. It's not about memorizing lines or following scripts. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts women because of who he is, not what he says. This is where the scrambler effect comes in, and it's the secret that took my results to a level I never thought possible. After months of testing these phrases and understanding the psychology behind them, I discovered something that changed everything. There's a specific mindset shift that makes all of these techniques work effortlessly. I call it the scrambler effect, because it literally scrambles a woman's usual patterns and makes her see you as different from every other man she's met. The scrambler effect is based on one simple principle: stop seeking her approval and start having fun with the interaction. When you're genuinely enjoying yourself and not attached to the outcome, women pick up on that energy and become magnetically drawn to it. But here's what happened when I took this understanding to the next level. 6 months after my disaster with Mia, I ran into her at another work event. I had completely transformed by then, not just in my dating life, but in my career too. Funny how confidence with women translates to confidence in all areas of life. She immediately noticed the change. I wasn't the same desperate, needy guy who had worshipped her on that failed date. I was relaxed, confident, genuinely enjoying myself. When she complimented my new promotion, I looked at her with a smile and said, "Just because you're being nice to me doesn't mean you get to sleep with me tonight." Her reaction was immediate and intense. She burst into laughter, but there was something else in her eyes, a hunger I'd never seen before. She spent the entire evening trying to get my attention, finding excuses to talk to me, even suggesting we catch up properly over drinks. That's when I fully understood the power of these psychological principles. It wasn't about the phrases themselves, it was about the complete transformation of my mindset and energy. Through all my experiences and testing, I've identified 3 levels of masculine energy that determine your success with women. Level 1. The pleaser. This is where most men operate. They seek approval, avoid conflict, and hope that being nice will eventually be rewarded with attraction. This rarely works because it lacks the challenge and excitement that women crave. Level 2. The challenger. This is where you start using phrases like the ones I've shared. You create playful resistance, establish boundaries, and show that you're not easily impressed. This works because it creates sexual tension and positions you as the prize. Level 3. The natural. This is the ultimate level, where these behaviors become part of who you are rather than techniques you use. You're not trying to create attraction, you are attractive. Your confidence is genuine, your boundaries are natural, and your playfulness comes from a place of abundance. The goal is to reach level 3, where attraction becomes effortless because it's based on who you've become, not what you do. Here's the devastating truth. Most men will never reach level 3 because they're afraid to change. They're comfortable being the nice guy, even though it's not getting them the results they want. They'd rather stay in their comfort zone than risk temporary discomfort for long-term transformation. But the men who do make the shift, their lives become unrecognizable. Not just with women, but in every area. Confidence is magnetic, and it attracts success in all forms. I've now spent years helping men make this transformation, and the results consistently blow my mind. Men who were invisible to women suddenly have multiple options. Guys stuck in dead-end jobs start getting promotions. The confidence spreads to every area of their lives. But there's one more secret that ties everything together, and it's something most dating advice completely misses. All of these phrases and techniques work because they come from a place of authentic confidence. Not arrogance, not fake bravado, but genuine self-assurance based on knowing your own value. When you truly believe you're a catch, when you genuinely enjoy your own company, when you're building a life you're excited about, that energy is intoxicating to women. They can sense it immediately. This is why some guys can use these exact phrases and get amazing results, while others fall flat. It's not about the words, it's about the man speaking them. The transformation requires more than just learning what to say. It requires rewiring your entire relationship with yourself and with women. It means letting go of the scarcity mindset that's been programmed into you since childhood. If you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about transforming your results with women. Everything I've shared today is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what's possible when you fully understand and embody these principles. The system I talked about earlier, the scrambler effect, goes far deeper than these 5 phrases. It's a complete transformation of how you think about yourself, how you interact with women, and how you show up in the world. Here's what you need to understand. 99% of men will watch this video, maybe try 1 or 2 of these phrases, and then give up when they don't see immediate results. They'll go back to their old patterns of seeking approval and wondering why nothing changes. But the 1% who commit to the deeper transformation, their lives become unrecognizable. They develop the kind of magnetic confidence that draws women in effortlessly. They stop chasing and start choosing. They become the men that women compete for instead of men competing for women. The question is, which category do you want to be in? What I've shared today barely scratches the surface of what's possible. This complete system addresses every aspect of attraction, from the initial approach to building genuine confidence to maintaining long-term relationships where the spark never dies. With one simple move, you can stop losing women that initially liked you because you couldn't play the game. Re-enter the dating scene with confidence at any age. Pass each and every one of women's secret tests. Unlock the Scrambler is the only system that combines eliminating the nice guy behavior ingrained in so many men with the most cutting-edge discoveries of modern psychology. So you can gain the attraction of women, project personal power, and avoid the let's just be friends speech for good. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the most attractive version of who you already are. It's about unlocking the confidence and magnetism that's been inside you all along. The link is in the description below. But I have to warn you, this isn't for everyone. This is only for men who are serious about transformation, who are willing to do the inner work required to become genuinely attractive to women. If you're looking for quick fixes or pickup lines, this isn't for you. But if you're ready to become the kind of man that women naturally gravitate toward, the kind of man who never has to worry about the friend zone again, then click that link now.